Guys, welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are doing day one of Draft Week Bonanza. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm excited. Today we're going to do round one and round two of a mock draft. It's not going to be predictive. It's going to be a little bit of what I would do, a little bit of what some of my friends who are fans of those teams would do, and a little bit of what I think, just from what we're hearing around draft circles, what is going to happen. So, or what we believe teams are going to do. So, just want to start off by saying I hope you guys had a good weekend. My weekend was busy. I was outside a lot, so I got a little bit of a tan. So I'm happy about that. KZ's coming. Yeah, don't worry about it. We're not filming a podcast here, girly. All right. Apologies. That's one of my cats. Of course, they don't run over the computer until they see that we're live. So they think they're the stars of the show. So we'll go ahead and let her and if her brother comes through, let him get some of the spotlight. But we'll get back to this. So this is draft week. A lot of excitement, even for teams that don't have first round picks. There should still be excitement because you never know. You could trade up. Somebody could slide to the next day. So it's just really exciting. First, we'll go ahead and get to some of these NFL storylines before we get going. So it looks like Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver, punt returner, kind of athletic freak from Florida, who is now at the New York Giants. It looks like they're trying to trade him. Brian Dable came in, and I'm not sure if he met with Kadarius Toney, but I know that Toney is not showing up to voluntary mini camps that they're doing right now for on-field drills, and so he is looking to trade him. They said that they only want to trade him for significant returns. I think that's them just talking it up, trying to get more people involved in the trade market. Because again, I don't know how big of a trade market he has, especially with Debo out there. Yes, he's got a little bit more control, like team control, because he's got another 4 years left on his deal, and Debo's only on his last one. But with his he had some issues at Florida. Staying healthy on top of off the field issues. In the league, he's had some issues staying healthy and a little bit of attitude issues. So I don't know what they're going to get for him. I think he will be traded. I think it'll be in the middle of the draft. I don't think he'll be traded before, but I think he's going to be traded in the middle of the draft. And I don't think he's going to get good compensation. They're talking about the compensation that they're wanting. It's significant compensation, but I can't see them getting more than a 2+. I've done I think Debo isn't going to get as much compensation back as you guys or as anyone really thinks, because again, he doesn't have a no trade clause, but he's on his final years of his contract. So no team is going to trade for him if he's not going to sign a long-term deal. So if the Jets are coming after Debo Samuel, which I think they are, Debo could say, I don't want to sign with you, because I heard some of what he's not liking is high state income taxes. And New York and California both have high state income taxes, as well as high cost of living, which was another thing about him. Because again, he's a Florida boy, went to college at South Carolina, so he's been in the South the whole time. And so Debo, I don't think he's going to get as much compensation, because I don't think as many teams are going to be in on him. Kadarius Toney, on the other hand, there might be more teams in on him. I could see him going to the Jets. I could also see him going to Buffalo, because, Brian Dable is from Buffalo, and he might give Sean McDermott a good deal. But again, if Brian Dable thinks someone has character issues and doesn't want him, I don't think Sean McDermott will as well. But we'll see. Maybe they think putting him in a room with Stephon Diggs as a mentor and Gabe Davis, who's a little matured, even though he's about the same age as Toney. Maybe they think that's a good thing for him. So we'll see. But I don't think they're going to get as big of a return as they think. If it's going just by pick value, I don't see them getting more than a second and maybe a fifth for him. So, and Deebo Samuel too, unless it's a team that really wants him. I mean, I think you get one first rounder maybe for him. So we'll see as that goes along. Again, it's smokescreen season, so a lot of this draft topics that we're hearing, you got to be kind of mindful of. I was reading something where at least 7 teams have Lewis Cine rated higher than Kyle Hamilton, which again, they're both safeties. Kyle Hamilton's a safety from Notre Dame, and Lewis Cine is a safety from Georgia. I like both safeties. I think they're going to both go in the top 25. But I don't believe the Lewis Cine over Kyle Hamilton, other than maybe one or two teams who can see themselves playing, a different scheme, and they don't see Kyle Hamilton fitting it. But they both do basically the same things. There might be one or two guys that are worried about Kyle Hamilton's slower 40 time that he ran, but the instincts are there to make up for the 40 time. Just don't play him up top in a one high set too often. I don't think anyone's going to have a problem with Kyle Hamilton, and I don't believe that Lewis Cine is going to go in front of Kyle Hamilton. Last thing before we go ahead and get into this 2-round mock draft, because we are doing 2 rounds today, so we should kind of get into it. John Lynch doesn't want to let go of Deebo, is what he was saying at his press conference he had today. I think it was about 1:00 Eastern time. He was there. We believe John Lynch doesn't want to let go of Deebo, but they've already had conversations where, Deebo has stated he does not want to stay there. I don't know if that's, again, because of California and he's not used to that kind of lifestyle. Because again, growing up in Florida and going to South Carolina and then going all the way over to the Bay Area in San Francisco, it's a lot different of a lifestyle. There's a lot different kinds of food and people out there. It's just a whole different way of living, on top of it being a little more costly to live. And also them, having to pay state income taxes. So I think it's a little bit of everything, and as well as it being that he doesn't have Wes Welker or Mike McDaniel anymore. So I agree, and I believe John Lynch when he says that we don't want to let go of Deebo. But at the end of the day, you're not going to hold on to him if he's going to sit out this year, and then he's going to walk, or he sits out and then you franchise tag him and he sits out again. It just doesn't make sense. You're eating up so much money. I think you should trade him before the draft, and I don't think they will. I think it's going to be a big mistake. I think they need to trade him during this draft so that they can get a replacement for him, whether that be with Miami, if he's okay going to Miami, which I've heard he is. The whole thing is about the money issue, and I don't think it's going to be an issue. Maybe you get Lynn Bowden Jr. back from them, who is he's Deebo Samuel in the sense that he can play in the backfield, he can line up in the slot, he's shifty, but he's about 40% of what Deebo Samuel is. So you get him plus a pick, or another player plus a pick. So maybe you get, Lynn Bowden, 102, and next year's second. Maybe he goes to Houston and you get some picks there. Maybe you get pick 13 from Houston. So there's some things. I think they're going to hold on to him, and I think he's going to sit out, and then I think they're going to be scrambling. So we'll see. That's just something else I wanted to bring up, is we're still on Deebo watch. We are still on Deebo watch, and I don't know where he's going to go, and I don't know when he's going to go. I just know the sooner, the better for San Francisco. So, all right. There we go. We got through some of this NFL news. Let's go ahead and get into this 2-round mock draft now. So, again, we are doing our mock draft on the Draft Network's mock draft simulator. Here we go. So we took control of all the teams. We're using their predictive board, and we are doing the 7-round mock draft just so we can keep it day to day as we add on to it. We're also going to do some trades in this mock draft. So be excited for that. I don't know how many trades we'll do. I assume in the top 5 we're not really going to do any, but We will be doing some trades. All right, let's get this thing started. So, there we go. First on the clock. If I was in this position, I would take a tackle. I would take Ike Ekwonu. I'd be okay with them taking Evan Neal as well. But there's a lot of buzz with them taking one of these edge rushers, and there's a lot of buzz with Trent Baalke wanting to take Trayvon Walker. I like Trayvon Walker. I don't like him in the. I like him. I don't like him in the top 10. But that's okay. That's just kind of my preference. I think he's raw. I think he can work inside and outside, but I think he's just so raw that I don't know. He could end up not turning into anything. He could end up being an average player. He can end up being elite, but with the number 1 pick, I want someone with higher upside, but like a can't miss guy. So if you take Aiden Hutchinson, he's got higher upside, not the highest upside. He's definitely not one of those guys, but he's a can't miss, as in I think he'll be a starter and possibly get 1 or 2 Pro Bowls on his lower ends. He can be a nice number 2 pass rusher if you got a nice guy lined up next to him. Again, a guy like Evan Neal, I don't think you can miss with Evan Neal. He can play inside and outside. Worst case, he's Eric Fisher, and you move him on the inside. He's a Pro Bowl guard. Ike Ekwonu, I think is a beast. I think he's a little more. There's a little more risk involved with him just because he's not as crisp as a pass blocker. But again, they franchise tag Cam Robinson. They've got Juwan Taylor, and also who was they got this the tackle from Stanford in the draft that they picked up, Walker Little. So you've got them, and then on the inside you've got a good center and you've got a good guard prospect. You've got Pro Bowlers in there, so you can put him at the other guard and have him play the guard for a year. So I would love to get one of these tackle prospects, but it's just I'm hearing too much about Trayvon Walker to not go Trayvon Walker. So we want to keep this realistic. Also, a little bit of what I would do. But on the picks that we're pretty sure about, I want to just go ahead and put those in. So Trayvon Walker is going to be the pick right here. Hey, Noah, what's up? I appreciate you stopping by. If you want to just put this on in the background to kind of listen to while you study for exams, go ahead and feel free. I would appreciate that greatly. Thank you for stopping by again. All right. So this is a little bit tougher because they have been kind of silent about what they're going to do. Are they going to get a quarterback here? I don't think so, because we have heard Dan Campbell talk about how he likes Jared Goff. And I believe when he says he likes Jared Goff and that you can win with an average quarterback or a game manager quarterback. So, sorry, my nose gets itchy every time I talk. I don't know why. Okay, so I don't think they're going quarterback here. They really just have to go best player available, help out that defense. And again, I'm going Michigan native, go Aiden Hutchinson. Go ahead and do that. Nice floor on him. But again, a very solid player, very good work ethic. He doesn't have the biggest reach. He doesn't have the best bend, but I think he'll be a very, very good player for them. So going to number 3 with Houston, I don't know what they're going to do. I assume they're going to help out. This defense a little bit with Lovie Smith at head coach. I'm sure they're going to love to do this defense. So can go Kayvon Thibodeau. I kind of like that here. I really, really like that here. I want to push back from it just because I do have an issue with his work ethic. And I know a lot of people don't really care about it. He talks about making money. He talks about having side hustles, and that's fine and all. But it's just kind of like, you're a great athlete. Your production, you don't have super high production in college, but you're a super good athlete. So that's what's keeping you up here. The only thing I see with him is, are you really committed to football? Do you want to play for 10 years? Or is it, let me play for my first 5 years, go through my rookie contract, get the nice big contract, and then maybe after 1 year, 2 years, I'm not really feeling it after, so you play for 6, 7 years of high end maybe? Or is it just going to be, the first 3 years are going to be average. Then your fourth year, you're going to ramp it up because you want to get that new contract. And then once you get the new contract, you're just kind of going to be until your next big contract. That's what I'm worried about. It's kind of like Jadeveon Clowney. Where Jadeveon Clowney came out, he was a freak athlete, super long, super rangy, super explosive. So again, enough with the KT talk. We'll go ahead and get a pick in for them. I want to go defense, so it's KT or Sauce. Maybe even Kyle Hamilton here. I don't think Kyle Hamilton will go top 5. Again, because if he's picked at number 3, this is the highest a safety has ever been picked. Higher than, was it Sean Taylor is the highest pick safety right now at 5. So this would be higher than that. So we're gonna say no to Kyle Hamilton. We'll go ahead and give them, but they pick at 13 maybe. So yeah, we'll go ahead and give them Sauce Gardner here, and we'll just see what happens. That one really is between Sauce and KT. So I think you got to go with a tackle here. I've heard that they're not liking Mekhi Becton and they want to have someone to push him. They also might flip him to the right side. So get him one of these tackles to fit that. I'm going to take my best tackle available, which is Ike Ekwonu. This one's kind of, if Sauce Gardner's there, it's kind of a talk. KT is also nice here. Again, I'm going to go with the tackle. I think they're going to go with tackle, unless something crazy happens and Aiden Hutchinson is still there. But I think they're going tackle. So let's go ahead and give them Ike Ekwonu from NC State. All right, now we're at number 5. It's the New York Giants' first pick. And again, we're going to do trades in here. So maybe we look back and see if someone wants to jump in front of the Carolina Panthers to get a quarterback. If someone really wants a quarterback, maybe you jump in front of the Carolina Panthers right here. So kind of looking back at number 8, Atlanta Falcons, they could go quarterback. Excuse me. But I don't think they are. I think they're going to go best player available just because you kind of have to. That team is not set up for success, and next year they're going to be picking at the front again. So do you want to trade up to get a quarterback whenever next year? I mean, there's probably 3 guys. I'm thinking right now, CJ Stroud from Ohio State, Bryce Young from Alabama, and maybe Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke might end up being a better prospect than any of the quarterbacks right now. So you could pick one of them next year, or you could use 2 picks to come up and pick the guy you want. So if you really like one of these guys, then go ahead and get them, but I don't think so. Again, Seattle, they don't want to be picking up here again. Maybe they go ahead and use some assets to pick up here because I don't think they want to be up here again. I think that they can quickly transition, or I think that they can quickly transition. I think they have more holes than they believe they do. They could also jump up to get one of these tackles, but I don't think they will. Washington Commanders, they could also jump up. And after that, it's Saints could jump up. I don't think Saints want to. And I don't think anyone's jumping. I mean, Pittsburgh Steelers are not jumping all the way up here. I'm sure they've called to see, but they're not going to jump all the way up here. So we'll go ahead and go best player available for New York. I know they wanted corner. I know they would have loved to have Sauce Gardner just because I think they're getting rid of James Bradbury. They could do edge. They could do tackle. And even if you use Evan Neal, you can push him over to the right side. He can play right tackle. Or if you want, you can move Andrew Thomas, their left tackle right now, over to right tackle. You could also go wide receiver, but I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's between Evan Neal and Kayvon Thibodeau. So they also have a pick at 7. So you got to think here. So they have a pick at 7. Do they go Derek Stingley at 7? I think they could. Or you can get your tackle prospect here to take your tackle in front of the Carolina Panthers, and then get your edge rusher here / corner here. So it's definitely, I think, tackle's the play here unless you want to go edge rusher and corner. But I think tackle's the play. So we'll go ahead and give them Evan Neal. So now the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. So I have a friend who's a Carolina Panthers fan, and I did reach out to him just to see what Carolina Panther fans were thinking about this draft and what they wanted at number 6. So here is what he said. So his order of what he would want would be Evan Neal, the tackle from Alabama who just went, Charles Cross, the tackle from Mississippi State who's still there, Sauce Gardner, who went at number 3 to the Houston Texans, and then Malik Willis, the quarterback from Liberty, who's my number 1 quarterback. I don't see him being a top 10. Well, I don't value him as a top 10 pick, but I could see him going here. I could see him going before this. So I think we'll go ahead and go down his list, and Charles Cross is the next person. If I was picking this pick and it wasn't my friend Zach, I would do the same exact thing. Charles Cross is my pick right here. They've had a different left tackle in every single year. They've had a different starting left tackle since 2012. So let's go ahead and change that. And let's give them, hopefully, their franchise left tackle. Charles Cross, he's a super, super good pass blocker, super crisp pass blocker. And I think he can run block. He just wasn't really asked to do a whole lot of run blocking in that Mike Leach air raid system. So, all right. The Giants are on the clock here. They could trade back. They could get another wide receiver, or they could go ahead and get this cornerback or edge rusher. So that's what we have to think. Are we trading back? Did somebody want to trade up to get in front of Atlanta to get the first quarterback off the board? And I think we are. I think we're gonna trade up. So we are going to have the Washington Commanders trade up. So they traded 2 third-round picks to get Carson Wentz. I don't know why they traded 2 third-round picks, because around the league everyone knew Carson Wentz has no trade value, and they still went ahead and traded 2 third-round picks for him. I think you could have gotten him for a 4th, even if you had to wait another month. I think you could have gotten him for a 4th, but they got him for 2 third-round picks. Whatever. Do you want to use 2 third-round picks and then also first rounder and the 3rd rounder to get up? I don't know what it's going to cost to go from 13 to 7. I think it cost Miami to go from 11 to 6 last year, 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick. And they knew they weren't trading up for quarterback either. So it cost them 11 plus next year's first plus a 3rd-round pick to go from 11 to 6. So this would cost 13 plus next year's first. I'm sorry, not 13, 11 plus next year's first-round pick plus a 5th. Do they want to do that? Spend 2 first-round picks, a 5th-round pick, and 2 third-round picks on two quarterbacks? I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to trade up. I think someone will trade up. I don't want to say no one's going to trade up, but I just don't know who trades up for quarterback. And I don't know what they give up, because I could see Washington doing it, but at the end of the day, why would you spend so many picks on 2? Like, why would you get Carson Wentz at this point if you were going to trade up? So I think they're going to wait and see who falls in their lap, but I do think they're getting quarterback. So maybe it's 2nd round. Maybe it's just sitting tight and getting it there. And I know New York probably wants to trade back and get a couple more mid-round picks, or maybe some picks next year, but because again, they could go quarterback, but I think they're going to give Daniel Jones 1 more year, and then they'll just trade up for quarterback next year is my my prediction. So we'll go ahead and just go. Derek Stingley is still there. When's their next pick? Is it just the beginning of the second round? Yeah, pick 36. Kyer Elam might be there. Kyler Gordon might be there. So yeah, we'll go ahead and just get edge rusher here. Go ahead and get Kayvon Thibodeau. All right, so Atlanta could go wide receiver because they don't really have a starting wide receiver other than, Kyle Pitts right now. Sorry, my hair. I just looked in the thing, and my hair is kind of all over the place. They could go edge rusher. They could also go quarterback, but again, I don't think they're going quarterback. I think they're waiting next year to go quarterback. So it's quarterback, it's edge rusher, and it's unicorn. I'm going unicorn. Last year they went with the offensive unicorn and Kyle Pitts, probably best tight end in a decade, maybe even in the past century. And he's proven it. He's just a freak athlete, super big wingspan, super tall, super fast, super strong. Go ahead and get a defensive unicorn to go along with him. Kyle Hamilton is that defensive unicorn. He can play on the edge a little. He can play on the outside. He can play in the nickel. He can play up high. I don't really suggest it, but he can. He can also play in the box a little bit and help with run support. So we're going Kyle Hamilton. This team does not have very many pieces, but it has a defensive centerpiece and an offensive centerpiece now. So we will go ahead with Kyle Hamilton. All right, going to pick number 9. I'm taking a break, and I'm going to drink a little bit of my milkshake. I had to stop off and get a milkshake just because of, I went from work to football practice to this. So kind of been running nonstop. So I got myself a milkshake just for this draft bonanza. So now at number 9, you have the Seattle Seahawks, who have Drew Lock as their starting quarterback. Do they believe in Drew Lock? I don't think so. Do they want? I don't. But again, that's the tough thing. So why would you add Drew Lock to the thing, to your trade, instead of getting another second round pick? You got Drew Lock instead. If you weren't going to give him the year to prove himself before going out and getting another quarterback. So I would love Malik Willis here, just because Malik Willis has a cannon, can throw the deep ball. DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are great vertical receivers. Again, Malik Willis is super great at creating space outside the pocket to extend plays. That's what Russell Wilson did best. So their offense is kind of already tailored to a quarterback like Malik Willis, who's a better athlete than Russell Wilson, who can create more in the run game. Russell Wilson did a nice job getting outside the pocket and extending the play with his arm, just kind of running outside the pocket. I think Malik Willis can do that, plus add an actual run aspect to the game as well. So that is an option here, and I'm sure they're talking about it. I'm sure if one of these tackles fell, like Charles Cross, I'm sure they'd be all over that. You could go ahead and get a nice corner in Derek Stingley if you believe that he's going to stay healthy, and you believe that his giving up on the LSU program was strictly because it was LSU at that time that was kind of being a dumpster fire. So I think what we end up doing is Derek Stingley here, or Jermaine Johnson, or Malik Willis. So we kind of have to decide between that stuff. So if we go ahead and get Malik Willis at their next pick 40 and 41. You can maybe get a guy like Boye Mafe, and maybe Kyler Gordon is there. Maybe Roger McCreary is there. So I think with this pick, you're looking Roger McCreary at one of them. And if you feel like he might slide, you can package both of these to get up inside the top 25. So I think that's what you do there. Or you wait, and at pick 40, you go ahead and get a guy like Matt Corral, could be there. Maybe you package both of those to go up, so you get Matt Corral with a 5th-year option. Again, there's a lot that can happen. I think you go Derek Stingley here. I think you go best player available. Again, this is kind of throwing in what I would do, and what I would do is let these quarterbacks fall. So I know a lot of people might be a little frustrated because they don't think a quarterback's going to fall outside the top 10. And I don't think a quarterback's going to fall outside the top 10 either. But I'm putting a little spin on this of what I would do. And what I would do is not take a player that I rank in the 30s and trade up into the top 10 and get him. So that's what I would do. It's an economics exercise. And to me, that economics does not make sense to take someone that I value in the 30s inside the top 10 or trade up into the top 10, especially to get that. So now we're with the Jets. We ended up getting a tackle. We didn't end up getting one of these edge rushers. We could get Jermaine Johnson still, who is still there. I like him I like Jermaine Johnson a little bit more than Trayvon Walker, to be honest with you. So that would be a good get there. Obviously, one of these corners would have been nice, but I think they're going corner in the 2nd round. I don't think they're going to go corner up here. So you could go ahead and take the first wide receiver off the board. And I think that's what I want to do. Jermaine Johnson would be great here. But I think I know what I want to do with edge rusher with their next pick. So I'm just kind of trying to think of all 32 GMs. And with the Jets, I kind of have a really good idea of what I would want them to do. So if I was the Jets GM, this is what I'm doing. And I'll spoil it because it's going to all happen later on today. So what I would do is take best tackle available, which is Ike Ekwonu in my eyes. So that's what I'm doing right there at number 4. And number 5, at number 10, if Kayvon Thibodeau is still there, take him. That's easy. But if he's not there, which in real life he should not be there, so he probably won't be there, then we go ahead and take Jameson Williams, the best wide receiver on the board. He's going to miss probably at least the first month, if not the first half of the season, due to that ACL injury that he had in the national championship game, which is fine. We're the New York Jets. We're going to pick inside the spoiler. In case you guys didn't know, we are going to pick inside the top 10 again next year. So we're not in a win now thing. We're not in a win now window. So we can go ahead and grab a guy that's not going to be a day one impact guy. And then just keep getting good players. Best player available. And to me, best player available is Jameson Williams. Got a little news that popped up on my phone. There is a rumor, which I don't know who the rumor is from, but there's a rumor that the Packers are currently in trade talks to get Darren Waller from the Las Vegas Raiders. So do with that info what you may, but you heard it here. Darren Waller might, in the next day or two, he might end up being a Packer. So just keep that in mind, and I'll keep that in mind as I do this mock draft. So let's go ahead and do Jameson Williams, wide receiver from Alabama, a deep vertical threat. All right. So now we're going to the Washington Commanders. It's so hard with that team name right now. It's one of those that it's going to take me at least a couple months before I get that right. I have to stop myself because I keep wanting to say football team. So the Washington Commanders are up. They have Carson Wentz on. I think he's got 3 years left in that deal. So they could end up drafting a quarterback here. That's not out of the question. But I think they will give him 1 year, unless maybe Carson Wentz is like a backup plan just in case like a Malik Willis doesn't fall to them or something. I don't know. I think Malik Willis would do well in that offense. Again, he is very raw and he still can't really read defenses that well. He has trouble switching from a 1 high to 2 high, adjusting if it's man and they switch to zone in the middle of the play. So I think I have him as QB1 just because of all the upside he has. But I could see him being a big disaster if you don't give him I don't think it's just a 1 year of red shirt. Maybe use him in like kind of how Trey Lance was used this year, where you kind of use him in the red zone and just create a little bit of a run aspect. But I think you have 2 years of that, if not more. So if a team is going to grab him, knowing that he's a project, then fine by me. That is okay. Go ahead and do that. But if you are going to grab him and expect him to play year one, or expect him to only sit for 1 year and then come in, I think you don't know what you're getting into. But that's just me. I don't know. So going with the Washington football team, I really do want to give them. I do want to give them Malik Willis, but I just don't think it's going to happen, just because you paid 2 third-round picks for Carson Wentz. I think you're going to give him 1 year before you dump him, or 1 year before you draft his replacement. Unless maybe they'll grab someone in the second round. I could see that, like a Sam Howell. If he lasts to their pick in the second round, I could see that. But I don't see them picking in the first round. So we'll go ahead and give them a wide receiver. Right now they've got Curtis Samuel, and they have Terry McLaurin, who they have to, kind of get them to like them again. I don't really know if it's get them to like them again, or if it's just give him a contract that he likes, because right now he's holding out. So right now you got Curtis Samuel, and that's really all you can count on. But we'll say Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. And then you've got a couple other guys, but no one really worth mentioning. So you could go ahead and get them another wide receiver. You could. I think that's really all. I like Zion Johnson. I don't really like him this much, though. Like, if they were to trade back into the 20s, I could see that. But not right here, not right now. I could see. Let me just look really quickly. Sorry, this one's taking a little longer because I'm thinking about sending a trade. All right. Yeah, I'm thinking about doing a little trade right here. No, we'll go ahead and just keep rolling. There's not a trade yet. I think the Steelers want to trade up, and I just don't think it's worth it right here, because I think they want to grab best wide receiver available. And you think about the kind of guys they have a bunch of shifty in space guys. You can go ahead and grab Drake London, who's more of a jump ball specialist, yards after catch, kind of bully kind of receiver. He does have a little bit of injury issues, I think, and he's not very good at separating by himself. I think he'll learn how to do that. Again, he was a basketball player who converted to wide receiver, and I think he's only been taking wide receiver seriously for about 2 years now. And one of those years he was injured. So I think you take Drake London. I think that's a solid pick right there. He's not my next favorite receiver, but I think to match the skill sets that they have, I think he's the best thing there. Going ahead with the Vikings. I could see the Vikings taking a quarterback, even though they did just extend. Kirk Cousins. They could go ahead and take one of these safeties. I like Daxton Hill. I think I'd rather them take a Jaquan Brisker or Nick Cross in the second round than take Daxton Hill here. So we'll go ahead and wait on that. Could take a corner. Again, is it worth it to take Andrew Booth, who has a groin injury right here? Is it worth it to get Kyer Elam? Trent McDuffie, who has smaller arms? I don't think so. I think you go with another defensive lineman here, and I think it's Jordan Davis. I would love to give them, I think Devontae Wyatt kind of fits them too, but I've heard he has some character concerns. I don't really know exactly what, but I just heard that he has some character concerns, so he might end up falling a little bit. I don't think he falls out of the first round, but he's going to fall some. So there's Jordan Davis. All right, now at pick number 13, Houston Texans are back on the clock. Houston Texans, it's draft best player available, I think. But see here at pick 16 is, the New Orleans Saints are there. I think Pittsburgh Steelers want to trade up. At 11, they didn't trade up because Washington was asking too much just because they wanted a quarterback in this little fake world that we created. So Houston's wanting to get as many good players as they can. Right now, they would love to trade back. So they will. They're going to trade back. Let's do first team, the Steelers. I don't remember exactly how to do this, which team's which, but we'll go ahead and do that. So the Steelers will give you pick number 20 along with pick number 52 for pick number 13. And we'll go ahead and get a 7th from them as well. So I think this is a really good trade for both teams. Again, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers would love to keep that number 52. But again, you're trading up for a quarterback. Houston knows that. Houston's been fleeced before. I don't think they're going to try. I think they're going to not get fleeced this time. And again, you're getting a guy who you think is going to be a franchise player. Using pick 20 and 52 to get your franchise quarterback is not a big deal. Houston, again, gets to go back 7 spots and picks up another 7th-round pick. Again, that 7th-round pick is a late 7th, and it's probably just going to end up being – oh, actually, I apologize. They're giving up a 7th-round pick. So, again, Houston's getting picked 20 and 52. That's that's going to be 3 players in the top 50, basically, which is huge for a team that's kind of rebuilding, has a couple good cornerstone pieces. Get a couple more. Instead of getting one player at 13, now you're getting 2 solid players. So go ahead and send this offer and see if the Texans accept. And, of course, the Texans do accept. So right here, the Pittsburgh Steelers did trade up, and they're going to go ahead and get their future franchise quarterback, Malik Willis, out of Liberty. He's going to sit behind Mitchell Trubisky for 1 year, probably 2 years, and just learn and, learn. And maybe he gets in on goal line packages, but, I mean, I don't think he'll have to with Mitchell Trubisky, being mobile, unless you kind of just wanted to get your young guy some juice. So go ahead to a well-run organization where he can sit and mature. Malik Willis. All right. So now at 14, the Baltimore Ravens. This is where you would really like to get an interior defensive lineman. Do they care about Devontae Wyatt's off-the-field issues? I don't know. Oh, look at that, Tyler. Hey, Tyler. Yeah, you joined right as the Pittsburgh Steelers traded up. So you used pick 13 and 52. So that's the only pick you'll have in today's mock draft. But traded up for a future, a hopeful franchise quarterback. And if he gets time to develop, he can be a top 5 quarterback in the league. He's got a great arm. He's got great mobility. So very, very exciting prospect. And I think you guys will be very happy if you guys end up getting Malik Willis. So back to the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, I think they go D-line. Jermaine Johnson sitting there. I could see them going Jermaine Johnson. Devontae Wyatt, I think, is a little bit better than Jermaine Johnson, or at least I would have him graded higher than Jermaine Johnson. He could go ahead. You can get either one of them, just depending on if you're comfortable with Devontae Wyatt and his character issues. So again, I don't know exactly what those character issues are. That's just something that I've heard and I'm relaying. And I'm going to say that they don't care. I think that they have talked to him and they're confident in getting a guy like that in the room that they can go ahead and rein him in. So Devontae Wyatt's the pick. Devontae Wyatt is the pick. Now, the Eagles have 2 picks right here. I would say that they'd want to trade back one of them, but I have a feeling they're just going to go ahead and take both picks here. So you got to think of what they need. They could really do interior defensive line, edge, cornerback, offensive tackle, linebacker, safety. like they have holes that they can fill. And so now you look at, okay, so basically defensive line, because I am not taking Trevor Penning here. I wouldn't. If I'm them, I'm not taking Trevor Penning here. I think the Saints probably will take Trevor Penning, but I wouldn't take him right here. So you just go best defensive player available. Again, they could go receiver. They do need receiver. They could go ahead and get Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave. I like Chris Olave a little better. I don't think they have a preference. At least I haven't heard one. So I'd give them Chris Olave right here if I want receiver. But you got to think about the teams that are in front of you. So you got a team that's probably getting tackle or receiver at the Saints. The team behind them is probably going cornerback or maybe a linebacker or a safety. So if you want to get in front of them, you get either your corner here if you like the corner that's available, or you get the wide receiver if you like the wide receiver, if you're trying to get in front of these two. So I think they don't care. I think if Jermaine Johnson's there, they still go ahead and take him. They could take Trent McDuffie. They could take Kyer Elam. They could take Andrew Booth. I think they would really like Andrew Booth. Yeah, I think they go ahead because I don't think either of these other two teams are a threat to take Jermaine Johnson unless someone's going to trade up to get Jermaine Johnson, which I could see the Patriots doing that. I could see at 23, I could see them doing that. I just don't think they're going to trade back from here. I think you go best player available. You get Jermaine Johnson. You let someone else take their receiver. And so this one's going to be a receiver or tackle. Do they want Trent McDuffie? Do they want Trevor Penning right here? He's very raw. If you're going to stick him at left tackle at the very beginning, that's bad news Bears, I think. Who's the next tackle available? Is it Tyler Smith? I haven't even seen Tyler Smith yet. I must have passed him because there's no way Tyler Smith is that low on this board. Yeah, Tyler Smith right here. If they think that they can get something out of him, then maybe. But I think, could they go quarterback? I don't know. If they were going to go quarterback, I think they would have traded up and got their guy. So no, maybe they don't get quarterback. Maybe they believe. Goodness. We'll go ahead and get Chris Olave. How about that? Make it easy. Get Chris Olave. Now they could get Trevor Penning. I don't know, man. I don't like Trevor Penning this much. And I haven't heard them liking Trevor Penning. I haven't really heard anything coming out of the Chargers camp, so it's not like I could really say anything. Could they go ahead and get a Trent McDuffie? I really like that. That's something that I really, really like. A Trent McDuffie or a Daxton Hill here, where you can play outside, he can play inside, he can even play a little bit up top. When you've got Derwin James, you got Asante Samuel Jr., and you have J.C. Jackson. I think if you added to that secondary and you got a Trent McDuffie and played him on the inside, on top of having those two edge rushers that they have with Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, if Jermaine Johnson fell to this pick, I think we'd take Jermaine Johnson just to have a three-man rotation. And also Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack could also teach Jermaine Johnson because he is a little raw. So, again, they could do that. I could also see them going ahead and getting a guy like David Ajabo. But if they were going to do that, I think they would trade back some. So if someone wants to trade up, that's awesome. Or, yeah, I don't really see anyone wanting to trade up, though. I mean, maybe Green Bay wants to trade up to get Garrett Wilson because they didn't know Garrett Wilson was going to fall this far, and they're afraid that the Eagles are going to take him. I could see that. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Hey, second trade. Let's do it. I like that. Green Bay wants their their number one wide receiver. They did not expect them to fall this far. So Chargers, Green Bay Packers. All right, so Chargers will give 17. Green Bay Packers will give 22. And then the Green Bay Packers will also have to give a second pick. So, again, that's only a 5-pick difference. So if you give a third rounder and go ahead and give them, whoops. Oh, okay. So there, I see what's going on here. Yeah. So just go ahead and give this. I think you give this 22 and 92 for 17, and I think that should go. Nice. So now the Packers are on the clock. Very simple. They're going to take Garrett Wilson. They're surprised he's still there, and they're very happy he's still there. He's a pretty crisp route runner. Super good, like spectacular catches. He's great at making good catches in traffic. Spectacular catches. He's got really good speed. He's got really long arms for his catch radius is ridiculous. It's kind of like a DeAndre Hopkins catch radius where you think the ball's too low, you think the ball's way too behind, and he's making these crazy grabs. He just struggles with some concentration drops on like just traditional regular catches. Just something over the middle with no one coming at him. But again, I think he's my number 3 wide receiver, and I have Chris Olave just barely squeaking him out for the number 1 spot. For the number 2 spot. So I really like him. I think he'd be my number 3 wide receiver in last year's draft. Number 4 wide receiver in last year's draft, and he's the number 3 in this year's draft. So let me say that again. He'd be my number 2 wide receiver in last year's draft, and number 3 wide receiver in this year's draft. So, again, he's somebody who, if he went in the top 12, I would not be surprised. If he went in the top 10, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I think he's really good, and for him to fall to 17, it's crazy. So, glad that they made that trade. Now we can go ahead as the Philadelphia Eagles. Go ahead and grab whoever we want. So Trevor Penning is still there. I don't think he's going to go here. Trent McDuffie is still there. I could see them going Trent McDuffie. I could see them going, I was going to say wide receiver, but like Treylon Burks. I do like Treylon Burks. I think he's a little more raw than people were thinking he was going to be. Just with his route running is pretty raw. So they could go ahead and get an interior offensive lineman / offensive tackle. They can go interior defensive lineman, which right now would be the UConn guy, Jones. His first name's mistaking me. Yeah, Travis Jones. He'd be my next guy, just to rotate with Fletcher Cox a little. I think he could do the exact same thing. Zion Johnson play all 3 interior spots. Trevor Penning on the outside. Trent McDuffie or Andrew Booth. Daxton Hill as well is a good spot here. We got Jermaine Johnson already. You can go Nakobe Dean. You can go Devin Lloyd. I think we go Devin Lloyd here. I think I must have missed Devin Lloyd. There he is, Devin Lloyd here. They got themselves a linebacker, so I'm very happy about that. Time is it? 7:20. All right. Let's speed this up a little bit, huh? So the Saints going to take their second pick. They could go ahead and get... excuse me. Woo. All right. They could go ahead and get Trevor Penning. They could go... oh, my goodness. Whew. Sorry, I was trying to mute my mic. I couldn't find the mute button in time. Yeah, they could go ahead and get a tackle right here. I could see them doing that. They could go ahead and also get themselves a safety. I think we go tackle. I think we'll go Trevor Penning now. What's the difference between Trevor Penning here and Trevor Penning at 15? I don't know. I just don't. I liked other options better. And now that he's here and he's the best option available, go ahead and go Trevor Penning. All right, so best player available is what we're going here. Houston Texans traded back from the 13th overall pick back to the 20th. They picked up 52 along the way. So now you just go best player available. I think they would have loved to get Devin Lloyd in here. They're not going to. That's all right. You can go ahead and get Zion Johnson, be a nice guard for them. They've got 2 tackles that are playing pretty well right now, and Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, and Tyson Howard, who's playing that right tackle spot, has been he struggled at guard a little bit, but he went back out to right tackle, and he played fairly well. So I think they'll go ahead and keep him there. So maybe you go Zion Johnson, shore up that offensive line just a little bit more. You could always go for another weapon, or just the best player available on defense as well. Do you like one of these edge rushers that are still there? Boye Mafe, maybe. David Ajabo. You're not trying to win right now, so maybe you get a top 10 talent at pick number 50. You know, I like that. I kind of want to go David Ajabo right here, just because. Or maybe you trade up from 37 to go get him. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. I don't think anyone's trading up at this moment. So, does anyone want a quarterback? No, no one does. Cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and get Zion Johnson. Shore up the offensive line a little bit more for Davis Mills. All right. The New England Patriots are now on the clock. All right. New England Patriots on the clock. So I would love, or I believe that they would go ahead and get a corner, because they will want to take a premier position with a premier pick. So linebacker is something that they could want. I don't think that they value it as much as anything else, you know, one of these premier positions. So you can go edge rusher, you can go wide receiver, and you can go cornerback. I think they don't value wide receiver as much. I think they're okay with what they have, plus getting maybe a guy in the 3rd round. I think they're going corner. So now it's between Kyer Elam, Andrew Booth Jr., and Trent McDuffie. I think they're all about athleticism. That's kind of something that they've shown. And Kyer Elam is fairly athletic, but I think Andrew Booth Jr. is a little more athletic. Plus, he's got longer arms. Excuse me. You know, the reason they took J.C. Jackson, you know, is because they believed in his athleticism. So I'm going Andrew Booth Jr. Again, Trent McDuffie's arm size scares some people. It scares me just a little bit. I think he'll be fine, but I think he'll have trouble outside with bigger receivers. So Andrew Booth Jr. doesn't matter. He's super long. Again, he does have the groin injury. So he might not be ready for week 1. That's okay. I think it'll be okay. And I think he'll do very well in New England. So I think that's a fair pick right there. This is the Los Angeles Chargers pick. They ended up trading. Did they trade out? Yes, they did. They traded out from 17 to 22 and picked up 92 on the way. So now you go ahead and get best player available. Look, Trent McDuffie, who we were trying to pick anyways, is still there. So I think this is a fairly simple pick. You go ahead and get Trent McDuffie, best player available on their board. He can play inside right now, while you have J.C. Jackson and Asante Samuel on the outside, and he can kind of be moved around that defense just like Derwin James. So this defense just got a lot scarier with this pick of Trent McDuffie. I don't think they have a problem with his arm size. I know I was just talking about that, but if you're going to play him on the inside and keep him on the inside, maybe play him up top a little bit, I don't have a problem with that. It's just that outside cornerback spot that worries me. So Trent McDuffie's the pick. All right. The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock. I'd love to give them Desmond Ritter right here just because I don't know what Kyler Murray's doing. Obviously, I'm joking. I'm not going to give them a quarterback right here, but I don't know. I really do not know what Kyler Murray is doing. So we can go ahead and give them an edge rusher if we like one. George Karlaftis actually fits in really, really well here. I wanted to look other places and just talk a little bit, but Kenyon Green's nice. Another running back's nice. I really like the pick of George Karlaftis right here. So we're just gonna go, not even think about it. All right. I hear a lot about it's either Kenyon Green, or Zion Johnson right here. Apparently that's what Jerry Jones wants. And in the first round, Jerry Jones gets what he gets wants. So I think it's Kenyon Green here. I think Daxton Hill in this defense would be very, very good. I think getting them another weapon like Treylon Burks would be amazing. It's Kenyon Green. Sorry, Cowboy fans. You're getting a trench player. I like Kenyon Green, though, and I think he's a good value pick. I know Buffalo probably would have wanted him here. So it sucks they couldn't get him. So now go ahead and get running back, Daxton Hill or Kyer Elam. That's what I'm looking at right now. I'm not looking at another wide receiver. It's running back, Breece Hall, Daxton Hill, Kyer Elam. All right. And we are going to go running back. I wanted to wait a second, get a little suspense drawn. They wanted Travis Etienne last year. They couldn't get him because Jacksonville got him because they wanted to move him to a receiver because of Urban Meyer being Urban Meyer. So we'll go ahead and do Breece Hall here. Get them a running back. They're not very happy with Zach Moss. Devin Singletary's good, but I think they want a more explosive runner that can do more with the ball, and that's Breece Hall. So we'll go ahead and give Breece Hall to the Buffalo Bills. All right, and now we continue. So you can go wide receiver right here to replace that Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis void that they had. Could also go running back to give them a number 2 and also take some of that pressure off of Derrick Henry. I think they'll go running back in like the 3rd round. You could go quarterback and have someone, if you like Desmond Ritter or Kenny Pickett, have him sit behind Ryan Tannehill for a year, maybe 2 years, develop, and then get rid of Tannehill's contract. Again, he's 33 years old. I think he's making $32 million a year. Could end up doing that. Could also go linebacker. I don't know if they'll like Nakobe Dean's. Here, hold on one second. I forgot to change the camera angle. So sorry about that. The screen was a little small. I just changed it where the screen is now a little bit bigger, and I'm just on the inside of it now. So there's that. Sorry, that probably looks a little better now. They could go ahead and get a tackle. I can see them getting a tackle, but you're not going to be able to pick a quarterback at you don't want to have to trade up for a quarterback. And I think Desmond Ritter in this spot, to develop, I think he has, the leadership aspect. He has the work ethic as well. Every single year he's gotten better and better and better. And his mechanics over the offseason have also gotten better, at least from what I've seen. His footwork looks a lot crisper. He does have some accuracy issues, but I think going Desmond Ritter right here, have him sit for a year behind Tannehill, and then cut Tannehill and save some cap is the way to go. So we'll go ahead and go Desmond Ritter with 26th pick. Now at pick 27, you have the Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, I could see them going with an interior offensive lineman. I like Tyler Linderbaum, but I think they're going more of an guard play. They could also help out that secondary. So Kyer Elam is still there. Daxton Hill is still there. I think they need more of like an interior guy. Daxton Hill might be the guy there. But I like Kyer Elam a lot. And I think Kyer Elam can help out on the outside right away, and you can move a guy like Carlton Davis inside. So let's go ahead and get Kyer Elam. All right, Green Bay Packers are back up on the clock. They did trade up to 17 to get Garrett Wilson because Garrett Wilson was falling. Now they just need to get a good player that can help them out. And I think that's fairly simple. Maybe some teams are looking to trade up, but I think you go ahead and get a guy like Boye Mafe. I think having Boye Mafe on this defense fits very well. So you got 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick, and you got Boye Mafe and Garrett Wilson. I think that's huge to replace Darius Smith, who they lost in free agency because they couldn't pay him enough, and they cut him, I believe. But you get Boye Mafe to fill that role. And you get Garrett Wilson to fill in for Devontae Adams, who you ended up trading. I don't think Garrett Wilson's as good as Devontae, obviously. I think Devontae's a top 2 receiver in the game right now. But I think he can step up and do what he can. So let's see. Kansas City's on the clock now. I think they might want to trade one of these picks out. So there's a team right now that would like to trade up. I could see them trading up. So here's what we can do. Is there a team that wants to trade up for one of these quarterbacks? Which the only quarterback left is Kenny Pickett, maybe Sam Howell. Is there a team that wants to trade up and get Kenny Pickett on a 3-year deal? A 5-year deal. They have Matt Ryan. Put Kenny Pickett behind Matt Ryan for a little bit. The only thing is I don't think they really have many picks to really be trading with. Anyone else want to trade up for Kenny Pickett? Well, I think you just get best players right here. So go ahead and get a Daxton Hill. Can help in your secondary a lot. You can play outside corner, depending. Play inside corner a little bit. He can play a single high safety. Can't really play in the box though, but I like him. I think he's very versatile, and I could see him going here. Again, Lewis Seen is another guy I could see going there. Maybe I messed up, and Lewis Seen should go there. But I think Daxton Hill is a good pick. Go ahead and look at some cornerback options, some defensive end options, and we'll go David Ajabo. Again, they're not going to need him in the beginning of the year. Just if he's ready from that Achilles which is actually, I wanted to use 35 and 38 to trade up to get David Ajabo. And I think you could do that, but I think it's okay. And I think we'll just go ahead and get best player available for them. So, yeah, I think David Ajabo needs to go in the first round so you can get that 5th year on him. And I think there's not a better place really than the Kansas City Chiefs. So to have the Chiefs take David Ajabo, he just has to be a situational pass rusher in the playoffs. That's it. You don't need him in season. Just in the playoffs, be a situational pass rusher. So I think that's a good spot for him. Now for the Cincinnati Bengals, we can go ahead and do a lot of things here. Again, this could be a trade out spot if someone wants to trade up and get a quarterback. I don't know who would do that, except I think the Colts. The Colts will trade up here. I think the Bengals. I don't think the Bengals want to trade out though. You know, the Bengals are 1, maybe 2 pieces away Do you want to trade back 11 spots? If it's going to give you an extra third-round pick, maybe. So I don't know. I think we have the Colts trading up, but is it right here or is it one more spot ahead? Maybe they just do it right here. We'll go ahead and have them trade to 31. So we'll go ahead and get the Colts. And they will trade with the Cincinnati Bengals. Hey, Chris, when will we see the first UCF player off the board? Day 2, day 3? First UCF player be Big Cat Bryant, maybe Cole Schneider, the offensive guard. This year, UCF was pretty young, so they don't really have too many people going. I would say first person is Big Cat Bryant, and that's going to be day 3. That'll be 5th round if you're lucky. Cole Schneider, the guard prospect, will be 7th round. So yeah, I think day 3 is the first one, unless I'm forgetting someone, which I could be, but I don't know. All right, back to this trade. So pick 42. Oh man, do you really want to give up pick 42 and pick 73 to come up and get your quarterback? That's rough again. I think so. Very unlikely that they'll take 42 and 73 for 31. Really? That's very unlikely. They won't trade back 11 spots in the back of the first round. Trade back 11 spots. That's crazy. Well, we'll have to do this. So you give up 2nd round this year, 2nd round next year, and a 4th rounder this year. Trade up and get your quarterback. Oh my goodness. And you just used a 1st round pick because you had to pay for Carson Wentz. Would they do this? Plus they just had to pay whatever I don't even know, man. Whatever they paid for Matt Ryan. But I guess that cancels out with the 2 2nd round picks. Or you give Matt Ryan 1 year, then next year you trade up for a quarterback. I don't think we can do this trade, man. I don't think we can do this trade. Bengals are asking for too much, so we'll go ahead and sit tight. And I'm sure Kenny Pickett or Sam Howell will fall to us at pick 42, so we don't need to trade up. We just won't get a 5th year on him, which will hurt us. But go ahead and get Lewis Cine right here. I think Lewis Cine fits into that offense. Lewis Cine fits into that defense very well. I think that offensive line is shored up enough to be a top 15 line, which is really all they need. Don't need any more weapons on offense. So it's really that defense. If you can keep that defense as crisp as it was last year, or get it even better, that's awesome. That would push them back into the playoffs again. So Lewis Cine can do a lot on that defense. I think that's the pick right there. The Lions want to trade back. No one wants to trade back with them. And I think Lewis Cine was really the pick they wanted right there. Again, you just go best defensive player available right now, unless there's a wide receiver that you really fall in love with. Again, I think someone wants. I want to say someone should trade up to get a quarterback, but it looks like no one really wants to trade up. Someone see a guy that's injured that maybe they want to get a 5th year on, a developmental type. No, I don't see it. So that's okay. Go ahead and get Nakobe Dean. Nakobe Dean fits that aggressive play style that they want, those dogs on defense that they want. So Nakobe Dean right there it's a good pick. I really like that pick. So now we're back at the top. The Jaguars first got Trayvon Walker. I would have went with one of these tackle prospects. but instead you go Trayvon Walker. Now you can go really anywhere. You can go with another defensive tackle. And you know what? I think we're going to go with my boy, Travis Jones. I think Travis Jones is a good pick here. Let me double check for 1 second that we're not missing anyone. But I think Travis Jones is good. Tyler Linderbaum, they can have sit behind Linder for a year. Excuse me. Oh, I told you my nose. When I start streaming, my nose, I don't know what it is, but it just gets so ticklish. They could go ahead and get a safety, but I think they're really looking for more of a one high safety. Jaquan Brisker is more of a move around guy. You're not going to get as much value if you're just sticking him up top. So I don't think you need to go ahead and get anyone here. Oh my goodness. Give me 1 second. Jeez. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Okay, let's go ahead and just make this simple. We could go with Quay Walker, but I think the big guy I want right here is Travis Jones. Now we go ahead and go to the Detroit Lions. Again, Detroit Lions right now, it's best player available. We're just trying to build up this team. We've got some pieces. Just go ahead and go best player available. You could go ahead and get Kenny Pickett right here, but if you were going to get a quarterback, I think at 32 would have been the play. So I really do think they're going to just punt on quarterback this entire year. They're going to be in the top 5 again next year. Most likely, we'll see, but most likely they'll be in the top 5 again and have a chance at one of those bigger quarterbacks. So we can go ahead with a wide receiver. Right now they've got some I don't want to say good. They've got some decent guys. Monroe St. Brown is looking really I think he's looking like a stud. They got DJ Chark. I'm sure they got a couple other guys, but those are the two that are really sticking out in my mind right now. So could go wide receiver, but I don't really think so. Could go corner. Who's left? Kyler Gordon and Roger McCreary. We already went linebacker with Nakobe Dean. So it's best player available. Let's go back to that. Perrion Winfrey's nice. I like Tyler Linderbaum. I just don't know if he'll fit that offense. Could go Quay Walker. And it's just they just paid Anzalone again. Can we go Brisker? He can kind of do what we thought Lewis Seen was going to do. Let's look at the safeties. I just want to see who we got here. So Jalen Petrie is nice. Jaquan Brisker can kind of he's more of an in the box than Jalen Petrie is. So I really like Nick Cross. I just don't think he's going to go this high. But I think with all that being said, why not get Treylon Burks if he's going to be sitting here? I know I said I think their wide receivers are fine, but if Treylon Burks falls out of the first round, might as well get him. Again, we're doing best player available right now for the Detroit Lions. With the Jets, it's the same exact thing, best player available. And so that's Quay Walker or Jaquan Brisker. I like Tyler Linderbaum. I just don't really think they have an issue at center, but I might be wrong. They can go ahead and get another wide receiver, but they got Jamison Williams already. They can go ahead and get Kyler Gordon / Roger McCreary. I think if they're going to get one, it's Roger McCreary. I think he can transition into being a cover 3 corner better than Kyler Gordon can. But again, you have to remember he was basically primarily a man cover corner. So maybe you don't go ahead and do that. So we got tackle for them. We could get Tyler Smith, who can play inside, and then eventually take over at the other tackle spot, just if Mekhi Becton doesn't work out. And again, that would be really helping out your young quarterback. You can go, we could go Kenny Walker, but I think Michael Carter had a really good year last year. We could go edge rusher. Arnold Ebiketie is the next guy up. Logan Hall, Josh Pascal, Cameron Thomas. Oh, goodness. All right, so this is where it's going to start getting a little challenging. So, what's Kyler Gordon? 5'11". I think we'll go ahead and get Quay Walker. Yeah. Shoot. All right, I'm just gonna keep mixing it up. Let's go Jaquan Brisker. Kenny Pickett is still available, so I know they're giving Daniel Jones one more year, but maybe you go after a guy like Kenny Pickett. I think his hands are smaller, so I don't know if you really want to do that when you play in cold weather like the Giants do. But, they could always... Again, Kenny Pickett's still falling. Someone could trade up for him right now. I don't know. This is getting tough. We're only 4 picks into the second round. So I'm going to try to speed this up a little bit. Let's go ahead and just... we got them a tackle. Let's go ahead and get them Tyler Linderbaum. Linderbaum fell this far. Go ahead and just secure that. Who did we end up getting? Zion Johnson and Maz Sauce Gardner. So we could go ahead and get them an edge. We can go ahead and get them a tackle. Tyler Smith could be that tackle, but I think you really want to start him on the inside. And if you start him on the inside, that gives Titus Howard a little bit more time at right tackle. Just to develop and see if he is that guy. But I don't think so. I think we go linebacker here, and Quay Walker's good. Quay Walker's really good. Christian Harris. Chad Muma. Chad Muma is very, very nice. Leo Chenot. We'll just go ahead and go best player available. So it's Quay Walker or Arnold Ebiketie. I'm going to go Arnold Ebiketie. I think he's a little more raw, and they'll have to try to get a little bit more out of him. But I think, again, you're going best player available, and I think he would be best player available at that spot. So there's Arnold Ebiketie from Penn State. The Jets, they kind of wanted Ebiketie right there. That's probably my fault for not picking him. Instead, we got Jaquan Brisker. I like Jaquan Brisker, so I'm not mad at that. Maybe go ahead and get Perrion Winfrey to help out on the inside with Quinnen Williams. That's just the first thing that's coming to mind right now. Could also go ahead and get Quay Walker. I don't see why you wouldn't. I want to go Quay Walker. We're going to go Quay Walker here. Just don't overthink it. All right, so the Bears have their first pick coming up right now. You need offensive line to help out Justin Fields. He was running for his life last year. He's a guy that still needs a little bit of development. He needs a little bit of time to read the defense. So I think you can get him another weapon, or I think you can get him more offensive line help. So go ahead and get Tyler Smith. I really like Tyler Smith. I think he'll go in the first round. You might have to start him at guard before you move him to tackle, but he's got the versatility. So we'll go ahead and get Tyler Smith in there. Tackle guard prospect from Tulsa. All right. So Derek Stingley was the pick at number 9 to Seattle. Now they have 2 picks coming up right now. I think they'll probably trade one of these out. The question is, who wants to come up? Does someone want to come up for a quarterback? And again, the Colts aren't going to just trade up in front of, the Colts aren't going to trade there. Maybe the Falcons want to jump the Colts. What's it really going to cost? Just to grab your guy that you think can develop into something. I could see them doing that, but then again, I don't know. I could definitely see them doing that to come up. Maybe this is where the Commanders come up to get their quarterback. I don't know if they like Sam Howell. I don't know if they like Kenny Pickett. I don't know if Seattle would rather just take their quarterback right now. Again, Seattle plays in the cold weather, and I like Kenny Pickett. I just don't know if he can do cold weather. And I heard Seattle likes Matt Corral. It's either Matt Corral or Desmond Ridder. So it's Desmond Ridder in the first round if they like him. It's Matt Corral in the second round if they like him. So I'm going to go Matt Corral here. So that's 1, 2, 3. That's 3 quarterbacks in front of Kenny Pickett, which is surprising. But I think they go quarterback there. I think they go Matt Corral. And then on this next pick, we can go best player available, which for them, they could go ahead and get another freak athlete like Christian Watson. Go ahead and get him, or go ahead and get a guy like Jalen Petrie, who can play that nickel, also play up top. And so now you got Sauce Gardner and Jalen Petrie, who he's not the best tackler, but he's pretty good. Or you can get Roger McCreary. And so now you have Derek Stingley and Roger McCreary, 2 of the best 4 or 5 guys at corner in this year's draft. Who else is there at corner? So Kyler Gordon is still there. Tariq Woolen is still there. And then once you get down a little lower, so I think they're fine. I don't think they need to go corner. I think you go one of these guys. Could they go Nick Cross right here? I could see them going Nick Cross right here. He's a better tackler than Jalen Petrie. Maybe you just wait. Maybe you trade back. Where is their next pick? At 72. So, maybe you just wait for Nick Cross at 72. Now, if they did that, what would their pick be? They could go Perrion Winfrey. Interior. Did we already get them a tackle? We did not. They go Bernard Raymond, play right tackle. They could go Daniel Falele again, right tackle. Again, both of those guys are raw. They're raw. And I mean, let's do it. Let's go ahead and go Bernard Raymond. Kenny Pickett sitting here. Let's go ahead and get Kenny Pickett. That's an easy pick. I think they could have gone a couple different ways, but Kenny Pickett right there. Surprised he fell this far, but I could see him making a little bit of a slide into day 2 this year. But I don't see 3 quarterbacks going in front of him. So we will see. Now the Atlanta Falcons again. They pick Kyle Hamilton at pick 8. You go best player available here, unless you really feel like one of these quarterbacks, which the only quarterback really left right now is Sam Howell. Carson Strong has a knee issue, and he's slow and what's the word I'm looking for? He's still in the pocket. Bailey Zappi would be my next guy after that, and again, I don't really like him that much. EJ Perry, Jack Cohn, Cole Kelly from Southeastern Louisiana. So again, these are all after Sam Howell. These are 4th round through 7th round guys. Like Carson Strong and Bailey Zappi, I'd take in the 4th. The rest of those guys are 6th and 7th round picks. So you either get your guy right now or you wait until next year. If I'm them, I'm waiting until next year. You don't really have any receivers, so you're kind of setting Marcus Mariota up for failure, but it's for the greater good of the team. So, I mean, you could go wide receiver right here. I'm not a big Jahan Dotson fan. I think he's going to be solid, but I would have him in the late 2nd round. I don't really see the hype around him. They can go linebacker. I wouldn't go Christian Harris. I'd probably go Leo Chenal here. If I went linebacker, Chad Muma is another good one. Again, it's best player available. So Trying to think who their cornerbacks are. They got AJ Terrell. Who else do they have? What's their edge rushers look like? We could go ahead and get a guy like Logan Hall or Cameron Thomas in here. I think we'll go Perrion Winfrey. Let's go ahead and just get them another nice pass rushing defensive tackle. Let's go ahead and do that. Because I believe they have what's the guy's name? They've got a decent defensive end. John Grenard, maybe. They've got him who's kind of like that outside linebacker defensive end hybrid. I don't know if they're keeping the same defense as last time, but they've got Marlon Davidson that they've got playing at defensive end / interior defensive line. So I think we helped out a little bit with that. Now the Browns are up to pick. This is one of those teams I could see Jahan Dotson going to. So even though I just talked a little bit of smack about him, I think Jahan Dotson's a good pick here. Let's go ahead and just check these other positions. Yeah, we'll go Jahan Dotson right here. Baltimore Ravens. I think Kyler Gordon's a really good spot right here. Tariq Woolen as well. Yeah, I think it's one of these guys, or maybe you just take a shot on a Logan Hall. But I also think they'll add running back too, but I think they'll probably add in the 3rd or 4th round. So let's go Tariq Woolen. I want to see Tariq Woolen go right here. All right. Again, Sam Howell is still sitting here. Could we see Sam Howell sit behind Kirk Cousins? I think we could, but I think it's best player available, and I think Jalen Petrie is pretty fairly that. I like Kyler Gordon, but I would rather take Jalen Petrie right here. Now the Washington Commanders, they've got the guy they could take with they have Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was at his best when he had a really good tight end with Zach Ertz, and then also with Dallas Goedert. Logan Thomas is here. I don't know how much longer he will be in Washington. I could see them go ahead and get a tight end. Do they like Trey McBride? Do they like Isaiah Likely, who is my number 1 guy, but he didn't test very well? Or there's Greg Dulcich. Where's Jelani Woods? He's way down here. Wow. All right, we'll go ahead and give them Trey McBride. I think he's been the consensus number 1 tight end, so we'll go ahead and do that. Roger McCreary still is falling right now. Sky Moore and Christian Watson are falling as well. We went ahead with the Chicago Bears on their last pick. Went ahead and got them Tyler Smith, who can play guard for the first little bit, and then also move out to tackle if needed. So we could go ahead and really work on anything else. If you want to get a wide receiver here, an edge rusher here, it's fine. But I would really like to get like to get a wide receiver for him to throw to. So Sky Moore is kind of the underneath guy. That's what Darnell Mooney is going to be doing right now, though. So I don't really see that fit. I could see a Christian Watson. I could see a George Pickens. So it's really between one of those two guys. I think George Pickens is more of a ready now wide receiver, and he's mean and physical. I think I really like what he would bring to that wide receiver room. So we'll go ahead and give them George Pickens, excuse me. Okay, so with Sam Howell falling, would this be a good spot for Sam Howell? I could see it. But again, they just took a quarterback in the 3rd round last year. I know that it was a different regime with Sean Payton, with Ian Book. So I don't really see them taking a quarterback right here. And again, I could see Sam Howell falling. I'm not the biggest Sam Howell fan. I understand what he was working with this last year at North Carolina was not the greatest, and I understand that. But again, I didn't like his pro day. That's really what I didn't like was his pro day, and that's kind of why I have him falling some. Really, anywhere on defense is where I want to go with this. Marvin Leal on the interior. He's basically just a pass rush guy. I feel like he's a little too small. I could see Leo Chenal going here. I could definitely see Chad Muma. That might be the pick, but I kind of want to give them secondary help. So Roger McCreary, Kyler Gordon. Roger McCreary? Let's give him Roger McCreary. I think Roger McCreary, he's a little handsy. His arms are a little small, which could be a concern for some teams. But he's a really good man-to-man guy. So we'll go ahead and give him Roger McCreary. Maybe they can develop him a little bit more. They didn't take a... I'm just trying to think. Did they take a cornerback early last year? They took the Stanford corner, didn't they? In what, round 2? Round 3? That's all right. That's all right. You can never have too many corners. I know he struggled playing on the inside some, but you might be able to move Roger McCreary on the inside if you had to. But I think they can figure it out. You can't have too many corners, especially if you're using a 2nd round pick. It's not the death of you if he doesn't get as many snaps as you thought he would year 1. So going to the Kansas City Chiefs, I think they are going to go best player available. Again, they have 2 picks in the 2nd round. And it's best player available again. They're just trying to make another run. So there's someone that can fill in for this year. So they have 2 running backs. They could grab a 3rd one. I wouldn't. I like the Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Ronald Jones mix that they have going. They could go ahead and get Sky Moore. Could help out that defense with Kyler Gordon. Oh, man. I really like Sky Moore. At corner, big drop-off. Receiver, we get Calvin Austin. All right, here we go. We're going to go ahead and get Kyler Gordon. I like that pick for them. I really like that pick for them. All right. Which is also good because Philly was about to come up, and they would have loved to get a corner there. They did not. Their last 2 picks, they got an edge rusher in Jermaine Johnson and linebacker Devin Lloyd. So right now they can go wide receiver. Sky Moore is a really good wide receiver separator. Christian Watson might be something else that they're looking for. I love John Mechie. I think they're going for some speed, though. And so Christian Watson, I think he ran a sub 3.4 at like 6'3". He's got good hands. He's a little raw. Sky Moore is more of a lateral, quick burst, change of direction kind of guy. He's not going to burn you up the top. So I think Christian Harris is that guy that they're going to want. He's going to be that X receiver you can just send on a go ball and jump ball a little bit. So, whoops. I said Christian. I was talking Christian Watson, and I almost picked Christian Harris, the linebacker. So that would not have been good. So we'll go Christian Watson, the wide receiver from North Dakota State. Okay. Here we go. We've got 11 picks. That's not math. We have 13 picks left. Okay. So let's go ahead and get this going. I'm sure there would be a trade somewhere over here, especially if there's a team wanting to come up and get a quarterback. The thing is, I don't really see a team that would want to come up and get a quarterback at this point. Sam Howell is still there. Maybe the Lions would, but again, the Lions literally just – I guess they didn't just pick. I could have sworn they just picked. Maybe the Lions come up and they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know Sam Howell was going to be falling that far. Seattle, again, I feel like they just picked. They didn't. Yeah, they picked 10 picks ago. And didn't they take a quarterback? Yeah, they took Matt Corral. So, yeah, you know what? I think the Houston Texans just keep trading back. They want to accumulate second, third, and fourth round picks just because this draft is so deep. They'll go ahead and trade with, who did I just say wanted to trade up? The Detroit Lions. So the Lions, seeing him falling so far, they didn't want to pick him at 32 or 34, but again, he's at 51 and he's still at 52. He's still there. So let's do it. Texans are going to trade with the NFC. Going to trade with the Lions. We will give you pick 52. You just have to give us pick 66 and give us a pick in next year. So give us your third rounder this year and really, yeah, this is Bologna, man. They won't do it for a third and a fourth to trade up second round. Oh my goodness. We'll go ahead and get a fifth rounder from them this year. So it'll be 66, fifth rounder. They won't even do that. Oh my goodness. 66, a fifth rounder. Bro, you are trading up for a quarterback here. We're going to switch these teams up because I'm not really liking their style right now. You're trading up for a quarterback. So this is, who are we trading with? Texans. There we go. Oh my goodness. All right. So we'll give you 66 for your pick 52 right now, and we will also throw in a fifth and so 2 fifths. We'll throw in 2 fifth round picks to trade up from 66 to 52. I think that's fair. I know they think it's fair. So we'll go ahead and do that. Texans will be trading back. So they're collecting 2 fifth-round picks that, they could end up trading that up into the fourth round if they want, or if they feel confident, they could take 2 guys in the fifth round that I think might be able to make their squad. So the Lions trade up, get Sam Howell. That's an easy one. Who they're really trading up in front of are the Atlanta Falcons. I think would be the only real threat right there. I don't really think there's anyone else that's looking for a quarterback right now, unless they're looking for a backup. So Green Bay Packers, again, they're looking for someone that can start right now for them. You can get Sean Ryan, who can play inside and maybe kick out to outside. Daniel Falele is a guy that's just going to take too long. I could see Chad Muma being the pick here. What kind of defensive linemen are left? You got Cam Thomas still. Petit Frere is still there. So maybe you get a guy like Petit Frere. I could see that as the pick. But if they're going to trade, we're assuming that they are trading for Darren Waller. So we're not going to get a tight end for them right here. I want to see them get Chad Muma, though, at linebacker. You can fly side to side. Go ahead and give them Chad Muma. I'm sure they would have loved to get another wide receiver, but at 56, maybe you get one of these wide receivers. Maybe in the third or fourth round, you get another wide receiver. I don't really think they need to hit that too hard right now. But all right, so right here, 56, 54. I've been thinking about this pick a lot for the Patriots, and I think this is where they go linebacker. I think I know the exact linebacker that they're going to get. So let's scroll down. Don't have to scroll down too far. Leo Chenal. He's a thumper in the middle. He's a pretty good athlete. He's very good. So I didn't really have to say much about that one. I've been thinking about that one for for a decent amount of time now. So Christian Harris is falling. He didn't have the greatest year this last year. The year before that, he looked really good. This year, he's kind of taken a step back. I think he should get picked very, very soon, though. I don't think he falls out of the second round, but we will see. Arizona Cardinals picking right here. Could go ahead and pick a corner, but right now the corners kind of fell off. It was a very good corner class for the very beginning, first 6 guys, and then after that it kind of fell off. So you could go wide receiver right here. Again, Sky Moore's good, but they got Rondale Moore that can fill that stuff. They kind of need a bigger body receiver. David Bell, John Mechie, no thank you. Calvin Austin, no thank you. Khalil Shakur, I like Khalil Shakur, but probably not right here. I think he's more of a third round guy. And so after that, we're kind of, there's Wan'Dale Robinson. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. So again, corners, kind of a tough spot for corners right now. Wide receivers, for the kinds of wide receivers they're looking for, is kind of tough right now. So you can go ahead and go interior offensive line or running back. And I think for the kind of running scheme that they're doing, and if they have James Conner as the number 1 guy, I think Isaiah Spiller fits really well as their number 2 guy. I like Kenny Walker. I like Kenny Walker a little bit more, but just to kind of fit, unless they're wanting a complimentary back, Isaiah Spiller I think is the better guy. But they do have James Conner, so we'll kind of do a complimentary back. Let's go ahead and give them Kenny Walker. All right, Dallas Cowboys are on the clock now. Honestly, they need another weapon. I don't really know who they could get. They could get David Bell. I just think that's a reach right. Excuse me. I think that's a reach right here. So here, I'll stand up a little straighter. I've been kind of hunched over. I don't know how well the camera could see me, but go edge rusher, go safety, and go corner. But again, corners are gone. Logan Hall, developmental guy. Cameron Thomas. I kind of like Cameron Thomas a little bit more. Let's go Cam Thomas right here. Shake things up a little bit. This is kind of where I could see a Sky Moore going. By kind of, I mean definitely where I could see a Sky Moore going. Again, you would love to get a cornerback here, especially with Trey White probably going to be out for the first month. But again, you don't want to reach. You want to use someone that can help you in the playoffs. And right now, AFC is an arms race. So go ahead and get yourself another weapon in Sky Moore. All right, the Falcons. Falcons can go best player available. And I think they need another running back. And do you want to grab a guy right now? Do you want to grab a guy later? I don't think it really matters. You can go ahead and get a Christian Harris. You can go ahead and get a Logan Hall, a Brian Asamoah. Oh, I really like a Brian Asamoah. But again, I think they need to go with an offensive weapon to at least help a little bit. Isaiah Spiller, I like. I don't think he can pass protect very much. He's not really that big of a threat in the pass game. But we'll go ahead and do it. We'll give them Isaiah Spiller right here. Yeah, we'll go ahead. Oh, man. Yeah, we'll just do Isaiah Spiller. That's fine. That's fine. All right, Green Bay's back on the clock. They've got a wide receiver and a defensive end. So they had Chad Muma. Wide receiver is Garrett Wilson. Defensive end Boye Mafe. Okay, so that's what they've gotten. They could go ahead and get their tackle now, defensive tackle as well. So, We assume they got a tight end already, is what we're going to assume. So they could go ahead and get Daniel Falele, but I would rather go ahead and get Nicholas Petit Freer. All right, go ahead and get him. You could stick him on the inside for a little bit if you need it, and he can kind of just be your depth tackle for right now and just a swing tackle for whenever you need. So DeMarvin Leal would be nice right here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I would like to see that pick. That's just the first thing that kind of came to me for them. They could go ahead and get another tight end. I don't know if they have OJ Howard anymore. And that's really, I mean, defensive line is really what I see them struggling with right now. So let's see who's there on the defensive line before we just go DeMarvin Leal. Yeah, I could see DeMarvin Leal here. I could also see them get Zachary Carter at their next pick, but we'll go DeMarvin Leal. Not my favorite pick right there, but it's good enough. Who was the team that we were talking about safeties with? That's what I want to know. Was it the Chiefs? Because they got Kyler Gordon. You got Jackson Hill. No, I don't know who it was, but I kind of want to get one of these safeties off the board. So San Francisco, we're assuming they're going to be trading Debo. Maybe they don't have to replace him right now. They would love to go corner at this pick. They would really, really love to go corner at this pick. They could also go running back, but they've got Elijah Mitchell and they've got Trey Sermon to kind of back him up. So, I mean, they could go running back, but I don't think it's worth their first pick in the draft. So, let's go ahead and get them. I want to see them use Nick Cross. I think they can play him all around the defense. We'll go ahead and get Nick Cross off the board. It might be a little early. Oh, you know what? I think it was 72 is what we were talking about, Nick Cross. That's okay. It happens, man. Someone took him in front of you. Big whoop. All right. So now, go ahead and get an offensive weapon here for them finally. You can go David Bell, John Mechie, but what I want to do is go Calvin Austin the third. He can be that kind of slot guy that you move around, super shifty at the line of scrimmage, slippery. It'd be hard to tackle him in a phone booth. So he is a little undersized, but I think he's like 170. But he takes a hit, and it's not like he's super fragile or anything like that. So go ahead and pick Calvin Austin the third. All right. 2 picks left in this draft tonight. We went over what I was expecting and what I was hoping by like 25-30 minutes. And I think it's just going to get tougher as we go further along, just because I haven't done 3-4 round mock drafts before. So no promises it's going to get any quicker, but 2 hours isn't terrible. I was hoping for an hour 30. Anyways, going back to it. Really, you can take best player available here as well. You want to keep that defense sharp, but I could see a guy like Sean Ryan get picked, and you know, he can be. Oh, you know what? Maybe they go Dylan Parham. Play guard, can also play center. I could see them going Dylan Parham here, but what about Cole Strange? Talk about a Cole Strange or Cam Jurgens right here. I want to go Cole Strange. I think I'm going Cole Strange. They can play him at guard if they have to, but I think he'll take over starting day one at center for Ted Karras and just have Ted Karras be a backup. Worst case, you play Ted Karras at guard. But I like Cole Strange, and that's really the last piece that offensive line needs is a quality center, and I think he can be a quality center. So you're getting him kind of for a steal. So there we go. Cole Strange at pick 63. Final pick of this mock draft, round 2, is about to end. It is the Denver Broncos. This is their first pick in the draft. They went ahead and traded for Russell Wilson. They traded away their tight end with that as well. So maybe you go ahead and actually, they have Albert O still, unless they traded Albert O. I'm trying to remember if they traded Noah Fant. They did. So they have Albert O right now as their tight end 1, I believe. But again, I don't think that's the biggest worry. I think you got to help solidify this defense. The offensive line is fine. Help solidify this defense. They've got good weapons for Russell Wilson. So now I think Logan Hall is the pick here. I think Christian Harris is nice, but I think you get that edge rush, and I think Logan Hall can step in day 1. Dang, is Christian Harris really going to fall? If he does, I could see him going at pick 40, pick 65, the next pick. So what's his weight? 225. They'd have I'm talking about the Jaguars pick right now. The Jaguars would have a very light linebacker room if that happened. So, but that's okay. I'm going Logan Hall right here for the Denver Broncos. So Logan Hall, and that finishes round 2. I appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing this stream. So I appreciate you guys stopping by, sitting here with me for round 1 and 2 of this draft week bonanza. Tomorrow at 6:30, same exact time, we're going to do rounds 3 and 4. And then on Wednesday, we'll do 5, 6, and 7. That one I'm going to try to rapid fire so we're not sitting here for 3 hours. But and then, of course, on Thursday is the draft starting at 8 o'clock. So around 7:45, we'll go ahead and go live. And maybe I'll have some of you guys backstage and just kind of watch the draft together and give my analysis on it. So, again, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night and a good day tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow at 6.